All right. Good evening, everybody. Hi. Welcome to my channel this Sunday evening. It's Sunday, the 16th of May, and it's 6:58 p.m., just almost 7 p.m. And as always, it's time for the weekly analysis, my weekly analysis. And usually, what I do, if this is your first time on my channel, what I do is I just um, go through a couple of pairs and give my opinion, okay? Because this is basically my opinion, guys. So um, nothing is set in stone. So it's just my opinion on how I feel like or what I'm seeing in the market, technically in the charts, in terms of where price could go. So as you know, I'm a price action trader, and I trade on a day-to-day basis with the FOREX Trade House. And so today we just want to look at a couple of pairs very quickly. But before I go on, let me just also say this. Please like, subscribe, and just comment or share this my YouTube channel or just this video. Just keep encouraging me to keep doing this every week. I really appreciate it. Yep. So that said, we start off today with Euro USD, and Euro USD. If I go to the daily time frame, usually I like to look at the higher time frames. Kind of look at the bigger picture, the macro bit of things. So basically, Euro has been on an ascent since March. Okay, since March 2020. This is the weekly time frame, so it's been on a slow and steady climb, or a consistent climb. If I look at the daily is probably telling me the same thing. Yeah, bit of consolidation at some points. So basically, we are in this channel on the daily. Okay, if you look at this, we are in a sideways ranging kind of thing going on. So we've maintained our position above the 200 EMA. I'm still bullish on Euro USD though. I mean, if I just look at the weekly time frame, still looks pretty bullish to me. Yeah, pretty much. There's still some ways to go in this range. And you can tell here, we closed the day on Friday pretty bullish. Yeah. But then again, we always wait to see how the market opens on Monday, or rather this evening, later tonight, later tonight. But technically still bullish at this point in time. I mean, I'm not looking at any other direction at the moment. I'm just marking off my highs and lows. So yeah, unless something happens, if I go down to the 30 minutes, so we see, basically Euro USD has just been respecting structure. This was on the 7th of this month. Okay, so like a week ago, EU pushed up a couple of pips, a couple hundred of pips, if I'm not wrong. 110, more than 110 pips. And basically it's been in this sideways range. And like I said, even on the daily, it's on a sideways range. On the weekly, it's still pushing, it's still bullish. So I'm still kind of, like bullish on Euro USD. So I'd like to see it push up a bit more. But we know that, so this is where we're at. what this supply zone here at a previous high as we speak. So this entire this whole level here, this is a zone, right? So it could continue to push up. It may maybe break the zone and push up to this previous high, okay, on the weekly. Or is it on the daily? Let me see. So the day, that's a daily high. Yeah. So it could, I'm biased on it pushing up a bit, but we are on a very strong zone right now as we speak on the 30-minute. So we may see some continuation of just, a bit of, it's called what? Consolidation before maybe the break happens, or we could, but I'm bullish. I'm bullish on Euro USD. I'd like to see what happens on market open, what kind of move happens. Yep. So let's look at Euro GBP. Euro USD is one of the most popularly traded. Euro GBP is also quite heavily traded. I don't really like EG much, euro against the pound. I don't necessarily like trading it. Find it very unpredictable. It's also been arranging sideways. Just look at the weekly. Yeah. So on the weekly, we retested the previous high on the weekly, and it looks like we're trying to push to the downside. Yeah, we're trying to push to the downside. We retested this level, the 200 EMA, but which was a key. If you look at it on the longer side, 0.8735. This is a key level. This is a key, actually where price is right now. This is a key support and resistance level. So it's quite something. Yeah, so you can see clear as day. Let me just mark that out so that you guys can see what I'm seeing. So we are on a support level right now. We may push up a bit and continue consolidating, okay? But we are beginning to look bearish. I feel like this was a drop to the downside, a retest, a bit of consolidation, and we might see a push to this previous low here. Yeah, but thereabouts. Let me go to the 30 minutes. So yeah, on the 30 minutes, we are seeing a bit of a rejection. Okay, and we are seeing like a bit, like there's a kind of like a triangle pattern happening there. So I feel like this is a retest to continue to the downside, but with this rejection here, it may not happen right away. But I'm bearish on, generally, I am bearish on Euro GBP. I don't see it any other way right now. We're at a key level though. So I'm bearish. I'm bearish on Euro GBP. I'm thinking, yeah. This whole, you see this whole levels here, like these are, like repetition, price keeps on getting attracted to these levels here, tried to break down here, failed, came back here, broke through, but then is back here. So I feel like this is like a break and a retest to the downside. So I am bearish on, so I'd like to see, a break to the downside. Yeah, that's my take on Euro GBP. Let's look at GBP USD. GBP USD was behaving interesting. Let me clear the chart. Daily. Kind of bullish on, still bullish on GU. Seeing a bit of a rejection at this level. You can see there's a major price action happening here. And but I'm kind of hoping that we move to the upside on GU. On the lower time frame, we may have a move that looks something like this. Like, hold on. We may have a push to the downside before we push to the upside. That's what I'm seeing. That's really, so we may even try to push to the previous lows down this level here, and then push to the upside. But I'm generally bullish on GU. Generally bullish on GU. I feel like there's a bit of a, how do I put it? Like kind of like a cup formation happening here. So might push up, push down again. Yeah, something like this. Still bullish on GU, but remember we were approaching a key level, doing a bit of a retest to like the trend, to the 200 EMA. So this is still forming. It's still forming. It's still playing out, but this is a key level to look at. Yeah, that's GU. So bullish on GU. Let's look at AUD USD. I like trading AUD USD, the Australian dollar. Let me go the daily. Pretty much looking interesting. There was a bit of like a head and shoulder formation here on the daily. Not very, just, we're kind of like in this range here. There's been a steady climb on, on AUD USD. Steady climb. To me, we may continue climbing. Okay. Rejected this trend line here, the downside. We can see the 200 EMA is still way below here. I feel like price action will push to the upside before we see any other kind of move. Yeah, so I'm seeing again, we definitely looking up about 26 pips. So we'll see what happens on market open, really. Yeah. So this is a key level here. Yeah, we are at kind of a resistance zone. So we could actually push lower before we push up. So looking almost similar to GU, like in terms of, because I'm looking at this zone here and I'm like, this entire area, so we could be facing some resistance to the downside, which may happen before we see the push to the upside. Let me see if I look at, so let me look at gold. Gold on Friday, I actually took this trade on Friday, and it went pretty cool. We closed at almost 100 pips, almost 100 pips. Yeah, almost. I had called it earlier, but then it kind of pulled back. Not really pulled back. It was more like gold doing its thing, doing its price action thing that it does. Reached our stop level here, but then continue to push up. So it's just one of those things that, Fridays are one of those days you see a lot of wicks in the market. But I'm looking at this as a major liquidity level here, what we can see here. A lot of buyers and sellers in this level. So my take is we may push down and then continue to the upside. I've been bullish on gold long term, really, really, really bullish on gold. For me, whatever has been happening in between here with the spikes to the downside and everything, really hasn't changed my mindset when it comes to where gold is going. So it's just one of those, you just play a patient game. If you're scalping, you kind of have to just figure out where your entries should be. But we are at a key zone here, key liquidity area here. So yeah, may look to push down, but I'm still trending higher. Okay, I still feel like we're trending high. Let's look at an index, one of the indices, US 30, one of the indexes. So US 30 played out pretty okay as well. But let me clear this. This is last week's, what I was looking at last week. So it closed very bullish. I mean, US 30 right now, it corrected here. Okay, so those are major bull run last week but one. Was it last week? Last week but one. 2 weeks ago, and then it corrected this week. Yeah. So I feel like now, following this correction, we are now headed back up. Okay. That's where we're at. But let's see. US 30. We kind of tried to retest the previous high at this level here. Okay. Again, this is likely a major area of interest. Like to see what happens when the market opens. We could reject this lower before we push on to the upside, but long term, I'm looking at it, just pushing to the upside. But because we're in this level here, we could push down on market open before you see the move to the upside. Yeah, because we we kind of hit this level and then started consolidating. And you may find that you may continue to consolidate, or we may push lower before pushing to the upside. Yep, but if you look at it in a bigger scale, we are kind of in a sideways, still in a sideways zone. Yeah, that's that. So yeah, so we've looked at a couple of pairs, guys. The market is looking bullish generally. If me just mentioning what I've just looked at. Let me look at NZD, JPY. Let me look at a different yen pair. Clear, clear, clear. Ended pretty bullish. Could retrace market open. Yeah, it's a possibility. Yeah, we could retrace to the downside. Pretty much, there's a lot of room to do that. You can see the candle that's closed on Friday. Bit of a rejection here. So I'm looking at this like, there could be a possible. So in as much as we've been bullish, we may see some correction this week. When I think about it right now, we may see some correction happening this week before we see any other strong push to the upside. Okay, we may see some correction to the downside before we see any major, yeah. So that's NZD JPY. So we might see some correction. Still bullish on it though, yeah, but we may see some correction happening, yeah, because we finally settled on a key zone here and failed to actually break past that level. So this could signify a rejection just based on how the candle, the candle closed. Although the daily pretty much closed bullish, on the lower time frame is what I'm looking at, and I'm like, yeah, maybe we could see some rejection to the downside before we now see the continuation to the upside. So that's my take for now, guys. It's still too early to say anything about the market, but I'm generally bullish on the market. But I find that sometimes, usually after a bullish week, which last week was relatively bullish, we see the correction the following week. So we may actually end up seeing a lot of correction this new week before we continue on the bullish momentum. So that's it for this evening, guys. I hope this short overview analysis is helpful in some ways. If it is, please let me know. Please like, subscribe as always, and see you soon. Have a lovely week ahead. Enjoy trading. Let's make some money, guys, and keep growing. Thank you. Bye.